Nanavia masfa ivu mamasligu aviduch. And we have some relatives, which are fun. All right, so it's just going to become umas. That's actually not that exciting. We're not pretending that nothing happened. No, it's absolutely wonderful. I really love these languages. Welcome. If you are watching this on YouTube, my name is Colin Gorey. I'm a linguist. This is a channel all about language. We do everything related to language, really. We do language learning. We do linguistics. We do constructed languages. And by the way, constructed languages is, well, if you clicked on this video, you probably know, this is what we're about to do. We are working on our Conlang with Me project, in which we've been making a family of languages. And we've been making them together with tons of input from the chat. And we are going to, today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a fable that we've written in our main language, which, by the way, is called Justamija Qal, the language of the fragrant shore, fragrant coast, something like that. And, I'm a fluent speaker. And we are going to sort of work backwards and reconstruct a version of this fable in the proto-language, which then we are going to mess with to make it kind of different from the modern language. And hopefully we can use this as a jumping off point to develop more and cooler things in the future for the whole family. So let's perhaps start by going back over here. And by here I mean our fable. And I need to make this a bit bigger, I think. Yeah. Maybe 200. Okay. Yeah, the screen size is a real problem. But basically we have this fable of the raven and the swan. And I changed it to give it a positive message for the raven. If you haven't watched that episode, I'd recommend it. We had a lot of fun trying to quickly translate this fable in the time that we had. But we made it, and we came up with this fable. So this is a fable about. I'll just read it out to you. So in the original Justamija Qal, Hoska skopta ivu fazana si yagam payawi kusizi kwawanfi. A raven, which is a thing which is as black as coal, was envious of the swan. Lul nanavia masfa ivu mamasligu aviduch, because her feathers were as white as the sun. Uzaska snakut si kuli kumimimna. An idea came to the foolish bird. Lu kunavidi aliba panaklapi si papalwi malak sunavi si sazachna si payawi ivu sumani windu uk. If he lived like the swan, who swims and dives all day long and eats the weeds and plants that grow in the water. Lu nanavia payawi ivu masliku lavi wintu. His feathers would turn white like the swan's. Ugabin lu kilaya pastansi ma huchum si lu antukti mimas. So he left his home in the woods and fields. And let's scroll down a bit. Pafamantuma patunlaka masumani naltununaspa. And flew down to live in the lakes and the marshes. Lukunavidi palan laksisiva siziva yavalu. But though he washed all day long, pachinu lu mulak wawansim, and almost drowned himself at it, lunanavias chom skazik. His feathers remained black. And here's the positive spin. Palufakuli susuva uyu mamagal. And he learned that he was already good. Excellent. So, interesting things about this language phonologically. We have voicing of obstruents in intervocalic position. So you have me struggling to remember this at various times when I'm reciting. So we have this thing that's written like it's mamakal, learned, as the name, the past tense of it's actually mamagal, so magal, to learn. Another one, skazik, remained. Skazik. And another thing is the Q and the X are both uvulars, and they back vowel the A vowel when they're next to them. So instead of lak, we have lak. I don't think there's anything else that's too interesting. This is an SOV language. Moving on to the morphosyntax, we have an SOV language. We have some interesting reduplication. We have the past tense being expressed through reduplication. So mamagal, from magal, learn. We have or wawansim. So wansim, drown, wawansim, drowned. We also have the same reduplication occurring in the plural of nouns. So let's see if I can find a version. Oh yeah, nanavia. So navia, feather, nanavia, feathers. And there's something really cool. There's a really cool aspect of the reduplication. Let's see if I can find the example of it that we worked on together. Okay, so when you have, oh, this is so cool. So you have a verb imas, leave, and you want to put this into the past tense. Well, we have this CV reduplication, which takes the first CV and reduplicates it as a prefix. So let's take an easier example. So wansim, to drown. So when we do CV reduplication, we get wawansim, drowned. Past, drown. Let me sure if I'm out of the way. But what happens with imas, because we don't have this initial consonant? Well, we have to come up with one. And so what we do is we have a default. We have a default consonant that gets taken as part of the reduplicant. Speak. So we get T. We have this default T stop that gets added. But then we don't just add T to imas, because we don't like vowels in hiatus in this language. So what we do is, and this is fantastic, we copy the next, so we get the consonant that's going to break up this hiatus, we get it from the consonant that's after the vowel. So we get timimas. And you'd think, well, wouldn't it be use the same strategy for both situations where you want to get a consonant? And I just, no, we don't. And that's just how the language is. So that's left or past, leave. Samuel, thank you. There is vowel harmony indeed in this language. Let's see if there's a actually, I probably forgot to recite that altogether. Let's go over to the grammar. We can see we have rounding harmony. So E becomes U after U earlier in the language, in the word. So let's take a look and see if we can find something. Yeah, sumani is to be sumanu. Sumanu. Another one. Any other ones? Sunavu. Sumanu. Yeah, that would be kunavidu. Kunavidu, I think. All day long, kunavidu. So underlyingly we have this, then we have kunafiti, and then we voice so the voicing rule, and then we have vowel harmony, and we get kunavidi, and that's our output. Ugabun. Yes, okay. Let's do a derivation of that as well. Actually, let's just put them side by side, because that's how you should do these things. So we have our voicing rule, ugabin. Then we have our vowel harmony, ugabin. And then we get ugabin. Fun. So yeah, that's that's this language in a nutshell. We also made a proto-language. And so that's what we're going to spend, I think, most of our time on today. The proto-language, I have made forms. So how, there's a lot of information on the screen here. We want to focus on, so Justamija Qal, this is the language that we have written our fable in. This is our sort of home base language. Then we have the proto-language, Proto-Qal here. And we have some relatives, which are fun. And we will work more on those another time. But can I just, before we, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I really love these languages. And we have something like, let's see if we can find a good, okay, so yeah, we have this imas that we used as the example for our reduplication. In the proto-language, we have umase as the proto form because we have a lot of vowel shifts to get into Justamija Qal. So we have umase becoming imas. In language 2, we have unse. In language 3, we have umas. And we actually haven't generated a form for language 3b. Maybe we can do that very quickly now, just so that we can fill it out. So vowels front before front vowels, not a problem. Going from umase, schwa deletion, we will delete. Actually, let's just do this all in the proper spot. So we have umase. Where's my schwa? Where's my schwa? There we are. Umase, can you see that off to the side there? Let's see if I can. I'll center it a bit for viewing pleasure. Umase. So to get from Proto-Qal to language 3b, nothing happens here. We just have umase. We get schwa deletion umas. We intervocalic voicing, which is not going to happen because we've lost the schwa already. We're not going to get into the technical names for these kinds of relationships between rules. Palatalization, nothing there. Nothing happening. B and V becoming an approximant. P and F chain shifting. D and G spirantizing. Stuff with palatals. All right, so it's just going to become umas. That's actually not that exciting. Sorry. So lang 3A and 3B form a clade. They have a common ancestor that does up to schwa deletion. So these two changes here are shared by language 3A and 3B. So there was one point where they were evolving together and then they split off. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. We're here to write a fable. So a fable we shall write. So I think I'm going to need to find another way. There we go. Let's take this and put it on this side. Can we? Can Windows like me? Is that a possibility? Okay, so we have our text here. Whoa. Okay, that's going to increase both of them. I don't know, pretend I know what I'm doing. The words for already. Oh yeah, let's talk. Okay. I'm just gonna get distracted. Thank you, Samuel. The words for already are kind of fun. So we have the proto form facole. In Justamija Qal we have faculi. In Lang 2 we have facle. In language 3A we have abel. And in language 3B we have haurol. Which just makes me smile. I don't know. I absolutely love it. Yes. Okay. That's fun. So we need to make a protoform for this fable. So let's let's turn back time as we go here. So, where am I going to put my camera? Where am I going to put my camera? Because it is getting out of hand. Maybe I can just... Yeah, there we go. It's called thinking on the fly. That's what that's all about. All right, so I think first what we can do is just straightforwardly go back in time with these forms, and then we can change the grammar so that we're not, we're not pretending that nothing happened between these two stages of the language. So let's just go and Khaska. So this was Khwasakwa. And then we need Skupta, Sekwopeta. We'll just do one sentence of this like this, and then we'll play around a bit. So Khwasakwa, Sekwopeta, Ivu. How do we get Ivu? Ufo. All right, how do we get Fasana? Fasana. How do we get Si? Su. So already we've got most of this. Let's just finish it up. Yagam, Yakama. Payawi. I think that's just Payawi, yeah. Ku is Quo. Sizik. Evil. Sizik Wawanfi is a cool idiom. To evil I give. So to be envious of. Now let's see. Sizik evil is Sasuka. Or Susuka, I think. The stress is still kind of bothering me. And Wawanfi. Wanafe. So Wanfi is to look, so to look evil, but etymologically it is to give eye. So Wanafe. And if we are carrying the reduplication back, it would be Wawanafe. I think we can maybe move this over. There we go. Okay, so then let's kind of isolate this sentence a bit, just so we can play around, and let's make this bigger. There we go. Okay. So this is a complicated sentence. We can make a simpler version, I think. Insert some rows. So the raven, let's get rid of this this black as coal thing, and we'll just go here. So a raven, Payawi, swan, 2, evil. So this is actually a derived form. So this is kind of like Suka is will or intent, and Suka is bad will. So this is kind of like mal, the prefix mal. Wawanafe, so this is our reduplicant. So the past reduplicant, I give. Okay, so this is what we have here. I think we should have a bit more in this earlier form of the language that we do not, that we lose in before Justamija Qal. And so payawi quo, what are we going to do with this? What are we going to do with this? Well, we could have it so that this I give was not the way it was done in the proto-language. So we could say instead of having this I give verb meaning to look, we could actually have a have fe be the full verb. So that would be something like fe. So he gave the evil eye. Maybe we want this to be a kind of relative clause, like the eye which was evil. So we need to use our relativizer. Sasuka Suwana. And let's update our gloss here. So the I of evil intent, we can call this ill intent. I past give. So the raven literally gave I of evil intent to the swan. That's the literal translation here. Ooh, that's the wrong button. Okay. So, Huasakwa payawi quo sasuka stuwana fefe. Okay, that's cool. And then we can add in our... Maybe the proto-language had articles. That's something that we could add. So let's add a little article that's going to get lost in Justamija Qal. And maybe it can just be schwa, because then it makes sense that it was lost. So we'll call this the definite article and we have Ohuasqua payawi quo There we go. The raven gave an eye of ill intent to the swan. So the raven was envious of the swan. What else do we need? Okay, let's translate our little relative clause here. The raven coal like black relative thing. Oh, where is... Okay, huasakwa sakwopeta ufo fasana su yakama a payawi quo sasuka su wanafefe. I don't mind that. But what else can we do? Oh, I have an idea. Let's turn this quo into a verb. Into a verb meaning give. And then let's turn this fe, which we have also another word meaning give. Let's say fe came from a different root. So instead of fe being the original root meaning give, qal would be the original root meaning give. And so we would have payawi wana qal. And where does fe come from? Maybe fe is something like to give to a superior, like to offer up, and then that just becomes the word for give. So yeah, let's do that. So let's say qal. Apologies. Where is it? Qal. So this is actually the verb to give, and in Justamija Qal it becomes a word with a slightly different meaning. Excuse me. And this means to or for. Great. Okay, so that's a fun change. And then fe. Do we have fe? I don't think we have fe. So let's put that in here. This is give to a superior. Fe. Yeah, it would be fe in the proto-language, I believe. Hota fe. So to give a leg, meaning to run. Great. So this would actually, so all these fe verbs are going to become qal verbs. And in fact, they are not these verb noun compounds. They are just standard verb phrases. So hota qal. So using we'll just put this in as a kind of a reminder. So wana qal. Do we have any other ones? Salo qal. And I'm not sure if we have any other ones. And this would be fi. Okay. Cool. All right, so that's a good start. Oh, I'm sorry, this has gone a little bit off screen. Let's just move it back. There we go. All right, so that we've got the first line done. Wana qal. I wonder how, if we have any languages that have pathways to reduplication. I'm not familiar with any languages in which reduplication has, like this kind of CV reduplication has emerged. I'd have to look that up. That's a kind of an interesting question. How does reduplication come about? But let's not dally with that. We have another line to translate or to back translate. Lo. Okay, so lu goes to lo. Nanavia goes to the same thing. Masfa goes to masafa. A lot of this is fairly simple because these languages are not too divergent from each other. Ivu goes to ufo. Mamasliku goes to mamasaluko. And aviduch goes to, oh, this is a fun one, afitohwe. All right, so let's see if we can align these things here. Oh, Samuel has a comment here. Maybe we can put the tag of the raven in front of the word raven. The blackest coal raven was jealous of the swan. Attributive adjectives and tags are not distinguished in some languages. Yeah, and this is one of those languages. So to make it clearer in the, oops, I didn't put the. Yes. No, sorry. I see your point now. This should actually go beforehand. That is more consistent with the way we have we've been doing this grammar. The only thing, so sorry. Before I do that, I need to reconstruct the thoughts of past Colin. Here, so normally if we were having it be the black as coal raven, I would put it that way. But here I've put it in a positive phrase. So the raven, a thing which is black as coal. So it's actually sequopeta ufo fasana su yakama. So the head of this noun phrase is yakama, thing. But I think this might be a little too Indo-European sounding almost. So what I will do is actually say maybe that was not the case in this proto-language, and we can say the coal-like black, and get rid of thing, raven. Okay, so this becomes the coal-black raven. The black like coal raven gave an eye of evil intent, of ill intent. I think that's nicer. To the swan. Okay, because her feathers were as white as the sun, we don't have any gender marking on this third person singular. But let's do something fun that happens a lot, which is that the third person singular is going to come from some sort of a demonstrative. So this is this lo in the proto-language. So we're going to need a different way of saying her feathers or its feathers. And so we could just make that up. What is our... Let's use something with the schwa, because then we have a nice excuse to get rid of it. We could call it ta, maybe. That will be our new third person singular. I'm just going to put that all the way down at the bottom here. Actually, it might not just be a singular, it's just a generic third person pronoun. But let's make it the third person genitive. And so instead of, so this is his, her, its, etc. And then we'll have a different one for the gosh, it's that time of day where my brain starts to lose sentences in the middle of them. We'll have different forms for the different cases for the pronouns in the proto-language. Te nanafia masafa ufo ma masaluko afitohwe. Because her feathers were as white as the sun. Okay, I like that. Yeah, yes, exactly. So we can have these kind of post-positive tags evolve later in Justamija Qal. Maybe Justamija Qal is on its way to SVO. Maybe that can be something that we do. Interestingly, I read recently that we don't have very many cases. Some people have said none. I'm always wary of someone who says none. There aren't many cases of SVO to SOV changes in history, but there are plenty of examples of SOV to SVO changes in recorded history, or maybe, I don't know if they're counting reconstructions in that as well, which is kind of interesting. And I don't know what to make of it. But fortunately, for the purposes of making this language family kind of fun, we have an SOV proto-language, so we're free to innovate SVO as far as the cows come home. Okay. So okay, I see. Okay, Samuel, you're bringing gold. You're bringing gold to this party. The CV reduplication might be a result of analogy. Maybe in some noun classes, we're talking about noun classes now. Maybe for personal nouns, for nouns referring to persons, we have total reduplication, and for nouns referring to inanimate things, we have singular and plural being identical. And then in that case, maybe the pathway was something like a short word. Maybe there's a word for person, which is like, I don't know, something like dun, dun, dun. I love our labialized velars here. So something like Juane, just for the sake of argument. And so Juane was person. Juane was people. And over time, because this was such a common word, it just became something like Juane. And then on the basis of that, this CV reduplication became generalized outside of the personal nouns and started to apply to all nouns. Maybe something like that. I don't know. That could work. And so if that's true, we are going to want to get rid of reduplication on feather. And then the question is, maybe this also occurred with verbs, but I'm not 100% on that because I don't have this same story. Maybe we have part of the same story. So maybe we have things like quo, gave. We have total reduplication for monosyllabic verbs. Maybe there's a very limited idea. What if we have only a few true verbs in this language? We only have a few true verbs in this language. And they're the only ones that reduplicate. Everything else does not. But then later on, other things start to consider themselves true verbs and they start to reduplicate as well. But because the only verbs that reduplicate in the language are monosyllabic, the CV reduplication gets picked up. And because we also have CV reduplication for nouns, it's like this tool that the language has access to. It just runs with it. That could work. Yeah, we also still need to explain the T epenthesis for imas. I feel like there's something juicy we could do with that, but I'm not sure what it is yet. Let's take out our reduplication on the past tense of everything but our true verbs. So masaluko is not a true verb. It is an adjective-y thing, a stative, I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe there is a true verb that goes with it, though. Kind of like hada in Korean. This do verb. Yeah. Okay. So maybe there's a something really light, which means to do, and this means person, and then masaluko ya. And we're not going to express tense in these. Okay, that's another thing. Let's not express tense in these subordinate clauses. Yes. Okay. So no tense in the subordinate clauses. So we get. Just remove this for now. Ta nafia masafa ufo masaluko ya afitohwa. And yeah, so let's see what's going to happen with umasa. Which is going to give us imas in Justamija Qal. So since this is not a true verb, Samuel, no, it's absolutely wonderful. If you look over the previous sessions on YouTube, you'll sort of see where some of these things came about and how we've changed our mind on things. But I am absolutely loving these suggestions, so thank you so much. So let's see umase. So this is not going to reduplicate in Proto-Qal. If we go with our quo, our idea that only this very restricted set of monosyllabic verbs will reduplicate. So then what is going to be the historical origin of this? Maybe there's something like Okay. Let's think about this. Maybe monosyllabic verbs reduplicate to form the past, but all other verbs take this past tense marker in front of them. If they're in a main clause. So this would be past left. Ta umasa. And what happens is this ta gets wrapped up into the reduplication. And so as you get the start of reduplication in the language for all verbs, you have this. So it would become imas, and we have ta imas. And then that becomes... Then that would give us titimas. We got timimas because we're absolutely strange like that. Yeah, I'm not totally sure, but I kind of like this thought that there's a reason why the default consonant in the CV reduplicant is a T. So maybe we can let that percolate for a bit, but I like where we're going with this. So let's say we'll call this past for polysyllabic verbs. And let's see what else we have. Well, let's read the fable to begin with. Asakwapata ufo fasana su hwasakwa, apayawi kwo sasuka su wana kwoko. Tanafia masafa uko masalu uko ya afitokwa. Yeah, we will come back to this later. This series is going to continue until we get, I don't know, I don't really have an end in sight for it. There will be an end, because I cannot stay on one project for arbitrary lengths of time, but we will build up towards, I want to say, a relatively complete set of sketches for this family of languages. Anyway, I feel like there's some good creativity flowing here, so I'm gonna try and get, look at the time, maybe one more line done. So, usaska snakotsi kuli komimimna. So an idea came to the foolish bird. Really harsh on this raven in this story. It's not good. All right, so let's. So now we know that we have this t. Oh, and it's homophonous with the third person genitive. Interesting. Okay, so I only wish I knew where to click for these things. So this is quo. And kuli should become koli. Si should become su. Usaska. What is usaska going to become? Osasakwa. Oh, I like the sound of that. Osasakwa. And snakut, foolish. Snakwota, I think. Snakwota. Okay. Osasakwa sanakwota su koli quo memana. An idea, sanakwota su koli quo memana. And I believe this is nakwata. Nakwata is a word, right? Yeah, wise. So ill-wise. So unwise. Let's line these up for your reading enjoyment. So osasakwa sanakwata su ko. Sorry, let me do that again. I'll do it better. Osasakwa sanakwata su koli quo memena. Okay. All right, we have 5 minutes left. Let's see what we can do. And make sure I don't have any. Yeah, this is a beast of a sentence. Let's see if we can do it. Okay. So we need. I'm just going to do this one at a time. So we need something to replace lu, because we have a new third person singular, or sorry, a new third person pronoun. We need, so these are, I'm going to go down here so no one gets confused. We need something for his, or he, she, it, so the nominative case. We have t for the genitive. We need something else for the nominative. Let's give it something like, I don't know if we want something suppletive here. Let's just have something suppletive for the fun of it. So we'll go so. So that's our original sorry, I'll do this properly. Kunavidi. That's going to become konafetu. So day and night. Alipa or aliba. Alupa. And then we have this pa, which is and, which stays the same. Naklapi becomes nakwalapu. Equals su. Okay, we're going left to right. Oh goodness, it's going off screen. Let's yeah, let's take this, put it on a new line. That's an absurdly large font size. All right, let's keep going. Palwi, palawe, papalawe, ma lak, lakwa. The reflexive pronoun lakwa. And sunavi goes back to sonafe. Apologies for this rather tedious portion. We are going to remove the plural on sasachna, and we are going to sahwana, susahwana, su, payawi, ufo, sumani. What did we have for sumani? Somane. And finally, wenoto, uk, okwa. Okay, so this sentence becomes sokona fetu alupa pa nakwela pusu pa palawe malakwe sonafe su sahwana su payawi ufo somane wenato okwa. Okay. Do we need anything else? If he lived like the swan, so we have our definite article, which is which is going to confuse all of us English speakers, because that's the indefinite article in English. So if he all day long swim and dive ving. Okay, wait, I've gotten confused. Apologies. We're gonna organize ourselves here. Nope. You get to see how things really happen in the Conlangers world. A lot of organizing things in Excel. It ain't pretty, but it's how it works. Okay, so if he quona fetu alupa, so this is one gigantic noun phrase here. Quona fetu alupa pa naqualapu su pa palawe malakwa sonafe su sahwana su payawi. Holy mackerel. That's too long. That is too long. I think I'm going to have to revisit that at another time, because we're coming to our end. Okay. I will, as homework, make this sentence into something less barbarous and less horrible to say. I want to be able to do it all in one breath in the future. But for now, we have made some strides in the proto-language. We've changed the grammar a bit. I think I'm quite pleased with the story that we're telling. I'm going to put myself back onto the full screen and say thank you to all of you for joining me on this absolutely freezing day. I hope it is not as cold where you are when you're watching this as it is here. It's minus 20 degrees. But we kept ourselves warm and overjoyed with linguistic fun. I don't know. That's my little sign off. I hope that warms your heart, watching me struggle after 2 hours of speaking and with my voice a bit raw. But okay, no one wants to hear my tale of woe. What I do want to say is thank you so much. If you have watched all the way through this and seen me struggle with Excel, and you are a good person, and reward yourself with the ability to like and subscribe to this channel. Right, that's a reward. And if you do like this video, in particular, leave a comment. Tell me what you'd like me to do next. If you have any ideas for words or things, just leave them in the comments. Always happy to get participation from the community and to build this language together.